Happy Monday, everybody. Joe Ciaccio here. Hope everybody's doing great. I'm going to tap on just a couple things today. Kind of have like a lot of things I want to throw into a funnel and bring it down to you guys. Everybody knows about this GoodRx card. Okay? There's other cards out there for you to get with your clients. Some clients know about it, some clients don't. What I recommend you to do is to get a card, make a copy of it, and share it with your clients and say when you go to the doctor, they give you a prescription that is not within your formulary, this is one discount plan that's available for you. What it does is that it gives you a little bit more of a bond with your client. Maybe you can save them some money. Tell them they can ask the doctor for samples. If it's a name brand, tell them that they can maybe get a generic if it's available. There's also other things. Mark Cuban has an online mail order you can get. There's about 3 or 4 other ones that I can't think of off the top of my mind, but they're available. They can also pay cash when they go to the pharmacy and tell them they don't have insurance. Whatever they got to do to get a lower price, because I know when I go there, I use 2 or 3 different methods to try to get a better price. And there's times I sometimes get it lower than what my prescriptions cost. So, now, one thing I want to talk about is I was doing some internet surfing, and I know a lot of agents are talking on the phone. They're not doing much door knocking anymore. They're sitting doing everything by phone. And I sit and I think about when I was out knocking on doors and calling people up, to either try to set an appointment or to follow up with them. You get them on the phone and they don't want to talk to you. Who are you? What's this about? I didn't send it in, and they just clink real easy, real hard on you. So what ends up happening is that on the phone, we need to catch their attention within the first couple seconds. Number one, when the lead says, Mr. Jones, 58 years old, and you call the house, a man answers the phone, and you ask, is Mr. Jones home? Don't do that. Don't do that. Say, good morning, Mr. Jones. My name is Joe. Or what I heard a lot of people are starting to do now, or what this gentleman I heard said, when they answer the phone and say, Mr. Jones, my name is Joe. I'm an insurance agent. Don't hang up. You wanted some information regarding Medicare Advantage, final expense, life insurance. So tell them, Mr. Jones, this is Joe. Introduce yourself. No need to say your last name. They're not going to remember, especially when you have a last name like mine. Mr. Jones, this is Joe. I'm an insurance agent. Don't hang up. You sent a card in. You wanted free information. You wanted to know more about this. I thought about it and I said, you know, that's totally different than what we've ever heard of before. It's kind of like one of those, hey, don't hang up. Stop, I got something important to tell you. You sometimes want to throw people off base, because what happens a lot of times, or every time, hello, Mr. Jones, this is Joe. I'm calling you about some life insurance you want information on. You have a couple minutes to sit and talk to me. They've heard this so many times. So if we try to attack it a different way, use what I said, or maybe doctor it up to where it feels better coming out of your mouth. You know, you hear all these things on the internet, and what I read on the internet, I don't believe nothing. Because you don't know who's putting it out there. You don't know if it's AI. You just don't know anything anymore what you read on the internet. Okay? What ends up happening is that you need to be a little bit more assertive when you're on the phone. You need to have more patience, and you need to take your time when you're on the phone. When you get somebody on the phone, it's so important to talk with them. You know, they say the warm-up and all that stuff there. There's a lot of agents I work with that just don't do no warm-up. Hello, you want this information? What do you want me to tell you about? Okay, this is how it goes. Here's the price. Bam, 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 and they're done. Agents that work with us, Equita, who I know a young man on there who makes 7 or 8 Medicare sales a day on incoming calls. Okay? His fingers must be going 100 miles an hour. Okay? I'm not a good typer. I'm a henpecker. Yet when you get into the groove and you start learning how to do it, you're going to go through hard times. You're going to go through times where you say, I want to quit, I want to go. But this is what ends up happening to your brain. If you continually tell your brain by telling yourself, I'm not going to be good at this here, the other guy's better, he's more successful, I don't know if I can do it, your brain starts accepting that as reality. So what happens is that when you kind of want to go outside of your comfort zone, your brain is saying, I got to protect Joe. He's not that type of guy. No, I got to protect him. And they help push you away from that goal because you told your brain so many times, I'm not that good at that. I'm not going to be successful. I'm not going to be as good as the other guy. So your brain starts, not that it starts working against you, yet it does. Your subconscious is there telling you, you can't do it, you can't do it. And it's telling you that there because you're telling it, I can't. When you see a piece of paper on the floor, okay, you bend down and pick it up, and you say, I ain't gonna worry about it. So what ends up happening, whenever you see that paper on the floor, you're just gonna walk right by it. Just like with sales. When you see an opportunity to talk to somebody, are you just gonna walk by them? Or are you gonna stop and introduce yourself? Hello, how I'm doing? This is what I do. Call me if you can ever use my assistance. You have to think outside of the box. What happens, we get comfortable. We get comfortable in our settings. Kind of like we're on a boat in the middle of the ocean, just ran out of gas, and you're saying, I'm just floating out there. But you see a boat about, let's say 100 yards away. A hypothetical example. And you say, do I stay and wait for them to see that they're looking? Oh, I see a boat out there 100 yards. Let's turn our big boat around to come get them. Or do you start screaming? Or do you start swimming with the sharks, with the piranhas in that water to survive? Depends on what type of person you are. Depends on your mindset. You must always program yourself or start to program yourself, begin to program yourself. I got to think outside the box. I got to do those uncomfortable things. Because when things that you're doing feel uncomfortable, it means you're testing yourself to see how far you can push yourself to achieve a higher goal. I spoke to an agent last week. I said he wanted to bring on some life insurance carriers with us. We started visiting, and I said, do you do any Medicare? Oh, no, I don't have time for Medicare. There's not enough hours in a day for Medicare. And I did it before. I don't like doing the certifications and all that there. So you don't do any more certifications? He says, no. I said, well, I don't know if you know, but all the sales you made before, since you don't continue with your certifications, you lost all those renewals. I know, but I'm going to focus more on final expense. I said, okay. What are you doing per month? He said, I'm doing probably about $8,000, $9,000 a month. And you're buying leads? Yeah. So how much money are you actually making? And by the time we sat and put everything in the funnel and popped it all down, he really wasn't making as much money as what he wanted. I did not convince him. He has not signed up yet. But what I did is that I planted a couple seeds in his mind to make him think. I cannot make you do something you don't want to do. I can't do it. Under 65, I don't have time for it. I don't have time for that. Medicare, I don't have time for it. What ends up happening, my job is to help you find the reason to say, yes, I want to do it. As people, we have our own minds. We get our head set on something, either from what you heard or what you experienced, and you don't want to go back and do something you did before because it was painful. We started talking. I said, you have any idea how much money you could make by just cross-selling Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement, where the Advantage has no premiums in your area? You don't have to ask for no money. All you got to do is ask a couple questions, and you have an opportunity to move them from that carrier to your carrier, move them from a regular plan to a chronic plan, move from their plan to a give back plan that's in your area, and you can make all this money. I'm on the phone with him and I feel him looking at me going, really? You know, he's kind of telling, he can't admit he's not right. He's kind of telling me, I feel him saying, is this for real? Am I really hearing what I'm hearing? Does final expense go with Medicare Advantage? Does final expense go with chronic plans, dual SNP plans? Yes, it does. So you have to think about what your end goal is. If you do not have an end goal, you have no goal. A dream without a goal is just a dream. Most of the time, when you're doing well, you think it's all hunky-dory. I'm content. I'm making X amount of dollars per year. I don't need no more. But what if you were to change that mindset to say, I'm doing good, yet I would like to do better. I want to do better. What can I do to do better? Joe, help me do better. That's my job. My job is to help you see the light. Hopefully the guy calls me back this week. I'm not going to chase him. The days of me chasing agents are gone. Because I've come to realize that I'm chasing something that doesn't want to be caught. I speak with you. I give you my thoughts, my opinions. I let you know what other agents are doing that work with us in the company. Let you know what leads are available. From there, a light's got to go off up here for you to where you say, that makes sense. And when it starts to make sense, that's when the agents start calling us back. Saying, Joe, I thought about that lead program you have. I really don't want to spend the money. Yet, if I get in front of people every week, make more sales, even though it's cost me more money, I know I can make probably 2 sales out of those 20 leads, pay for my lead costs, and the rest is gravy. I've got more action, I've got more opportunity, I've got more people to ask for referrals, I got more houses to knock on next door. It just blooms into a happy ending for you by spending money. We all know the old saying, it takes money to make money. And if you do not take the bull by the horns and you direct that bull in the direction you want to go, that bull's going to be going around in circles. It's kind of like a cat chasing its tail. So I'm asking you, are you happy where you are today? Are you content with the money you're making? Do you want to make more money? Are you in Medicare Advantage? Are you doing under 65 health insurance? What are you doing to complement your current income? I am a firm believer, as I've gotten older and I've come across more opportunities, I like different streams of income. When I first started, it was final expense only. There was nothing else to talk about. That was the way we were trained. They focused us on just one thing, nothing else. Then your horizons open up. You go to a different company, different things come in, different management comes in, different training comes in, different opportunities come in, and you sit and say, final expense, Medicare Advantage. Final expense, kids under 65 health insurance. Older person, final expense, grandchildren need life insurance. Older people, not happy where their money's at, annuities. So all of these little things you have, this is not a lead, but with one lead, it can open your door to 1 sale, 2 sales, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, neighbor next door, a referral, just one lead. So with that said, guys, hopefully I kind of sparked you up. Hopefully I'm going to get some phone calls today from you guys to say, Joe, can we go a little bit more in detail? What do you advise me to do? How can you help me achieve a higher goal? I want to make more money. With that said, guys, make it a great day. Happy Monday. Have a great week. Happy March 2nd. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.